Welcome to the U3 Media Podcast, where our mission is to unite the world through coffee. I'm Christy Ross, and joining us today is Rafael and Carmen Silva, owners of Sicafe in El Salvador. Welcome to both of you. Thanks for coming on the show.
Hi, Christy.
Thank you so much
for inviting us.
Absolutely. Happy to have you. So together as a family, you're producing award-winning coffees. You own 4 specialty coffee farms in Western El Salvador, but above and beyond coffee farming and coffee production, you have milling, roasting, and exporting operations as well. So if you can give us a brief history of sort of the evolution of your business, that would be fabulous.
We have 5 family-owned farms, and I recently acquired last year my very own farm. So now we have 6 farms in the family. We've been in coffee since my great-great-grandfather, since the 1870s approximately. We don't know the exact year, and one of our oldest farms is Finca La Siberia. It is also one of our most renowned farms around the world. It is our most awarded farm as well. Our trajectory in coffee has been very, very long. All farms, all agricultural techniques, all knowledge has been passed down through the generations. That's how everything has worked in our family ever since. Every farm, everything has been passed down from father to son.
So Carmen, you entered coffee 35 years ago. Is this something you always wanted to do, or was it only after you met Rafael, your husband, that you became interested in the industry?
Well, no, it was not something I thought I was going to be doing. I used to work in several other fields, but when I married my husband, Rafael, he introduced me to the coffee. His passion is coffee producing. So it was awesome because I started going with him to the farm and getting to learn all the different things that you do with the farm. And I was fascinated, really fascinated. I saw him. He had so much richness in everything, no? So every time that we went, he was explaining everything, and every year I got more involved with the farm.
Yeah. If you didn't go into coffee, what do you think you might have wanted to do?
I don't know. I don't know. I used to work with airlines, and I guess that I would be still doing something like that because I love to travel. So I guess that I would be there.
Yeah, no, that's great. And so I actually want to turn that question to Rafael too. So you entered the family business 7 years ago. If you didn't do coffee, what other industry do you think you would have gone into?
That's a funny question because coffee farming is not for everybody. Farming in general, agriculture in general, is not for everybody. And nowadays in school, you're taught that there's success in big business, finance, banking, technology, and all of that. Nobody talks about success in agriculture. I actually love drinking coffee, but I didn't see myself doing anything in coffee up until more or less around 2013, 14, I think it was. And when coffee started growing in me, I worked for 5 years in retail after I came back from college. And people would come up to me and start talking to me about coffee when they would see me at my desk brewing myself a Chemex. So it started getting interesting, and people started talking to me a lot about coffee at work. And slowly coffee started growing in me. So one day I remember I came back home and talked to my mom and said, hey, if there's ever an opportunity for me to join the family business, I would love to come in and help you guys.
So, okay, I love that story though, because I think family businesses and being able to carry on that trade and that incredible, depth of knowledge is really a wonderful thing. And of course, when we'll talk about this a little bit later, but about say sustainability for the coffee farms and the next generation and. So it's really wonderful to hear that, you came in and sort of found that interest on your own, right? So, yeah. So, okay. So about 20 years ago, you guys started exporting to Europe and the US. And so it's always interesting to me to hear what you discovered as some of the differences, both business wise and preference wise, that you discovered in dealing with the US versus other countries.
Yes, I feel that we did find some differences because at that time in the United States, nobody liked like naturals,
Mhm.
only washed coffees, and the other way around in Europe they did. So this was, kind of doing some natural, some wash, so that everybody would be happy. But yes, it had its differences, definitely.
So you guys are known around the world for your coffees. Like, what roles have each of you played in like cultivating the quality and awareness of your coffees around the world?
Exporting coffee has been in Sicafe for a very long time. This started with my mom and dad. They are the ones who started with clients directly. We still work with them every year. And it was them who started pushing sales. It was them who started leaning towards higher qualities. It was them who started competing in Cup of Excellence and winning these awards. I joined the company in 2016 and came with ideas of innovation, not only in the farms but in processing at the mill as well. So we've implemented since I joined a lot of varieties into our farms. Several of them are very exotic. Some of them are more commonly known. And we're still working on implementing new varieties into our farms. Currently, I think we have about 25 different varieties in production, and we have about 3 new ones that are in the nursery and will soon be transplanted into the farms for growing coffee. In processing, we've been experimenting since I joined with several different processes and variation of the common processes. Some of them include double washed processes. Some of them are fermentations, anaerobic or aerobic. And the most recent one is carbonic macerations. Up until now, we've had a high success with these processes. I haven't ruined any of the coffees that I've processed in any of these experimental ways, and they've all sold really well and have had a very good acceptance around the world.
I love that. So I want to go back to the family business. So you've done a tremendous amount, Rafael, with bringing in and testing and trying, new processes all around. Um, when you look at working within the family, has it been hard, or has it been fairly easy to come in with new ideas and working to implement new things?
There's two answers to that question. Number one is that it was very easy. I had free will to do whatever I wanted. So I had no rejections onto the new processing. My mom and dad would be a little concerned about how the outcome was going to be, but after copying them, after seeing the sales of them, they would be very pleased. Answer number two is that it was very hard to get my father to try these coffees.
Yeah.
My father is very traditional,
Yeah.
and whenever I would talk to him about a coffee fermentation, he would say, "In my time, that is ruining coffee. Why would I want to drink something that is ruined for me? I loved my Red Bourbon washed. I love my Pacamara washed, and it took me, I think it was 2 or 3 years for him to finally try 1 cup of these anaerobic fermentations."
Carmen, how about you? Were you open and willing to try the different coffees and the different process?
Yes, yes. For me, there's no problem because I know that you have to be innovative in this field, and now more so, more competitive because the competition is great all over the world. So
Right.
yes, I was open to it. Yeah.
Did you sort of help, what we would call grease the wheels to help, Rafael, your husband, try it? Did you encourage
That's
him?
correct. Greasing the wheels.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yes, yes, I know how that works.
I know.
Okay, so one other question, sort of like on a personal basis, like if you guys were to describe each other in 3 words, what would they be? And Rafael, I'll start with you to describe your mother, Carmen,
Yep.
within 3 words.
She has very high social skills, very friendly, and very hardworking.
Nice. Those are excellent positives to have in running your own business.
Yeah.
All right. So Carmen, in 3 words, how would you describe your son, Rafael?
I feel he's responsible, he's innovative, and very good tempered.
Nice.
Very
Those two, those are
excellent.
wonderful.
Well, social skills, perfect.
Elaborate a little about what I meant when I talk about my mom's high social skills. I think something very important to the success of Sicafe's sales come to her a relationship to the relationship she has built with all of our clients. She knows them on a very very personal level. She knows all their children's names, their ages, and she remembers them. I forget about the names sometimes. I even forget sometimes that some of our clients are parents, and she has a very high retention for this. And I think that is very very important because in many of the cases it is not a business, a transaction. It is more of a relationship on a personal level, and that's thanks to Carmen.
I love that. I love that story. So Carmen, question for you: when you think about the sustainability of the business from a generational perspective, and I mentioned this a little bit earlier, how do you empower or help Rafael, this next generation, continue? Like, how do you see your role in ensuring the sustainability long term?
Well, I believe that Rafael is capable. I've seen him work, and like in exports and sales, he is my right arm. I mean, I couldn't do this without his help. So I do believe that definitely we have a sustainable business. Definitely.
Yeah, excellent. So all right, one other question about your various coffees. So you're known for your offerings of carefully cultivated micro lots, from single varietals to complex honey lots. So are these projects based on pre-sales to existing customers, or do you create the offerings without knowing if they'll be successful or not?
We process the coffees and then hope they'll sell.
And that's fair. That's fair.
Well, but not really, because generally we, as we were speaking earlier, we do know that the different tastes of our clients, so or our buyers. So generally, we always know how more or less what they like, and yes, we do introduce new ones, but just in a small scale. But generally, the big container goes with what they like, because we already know every year they're very consistent.
Yeah, sure. That makes
We
sense.
also have a very wide variety of buyers around the world. We have from the more traditional kind of buyers who will only purchase washed or honey or natural traditional processes. And we also have clients that are more leaned towards innovative and exotic coffees. So we know what to offer to whom.
Right. Right. Well, and it's fun to have all the different have this variety that you can offer to all of them. It just sort of opens your horizon of how many people you can serve. So you had mentioned this earlier, Carmen, about the cup of excellence. And so you won, I think, your first cup of excellence about 18 years ago, if I have that right. What did
2005.
winning Yeah. So what did winning this particular distinction mean to you back then? And then for both of you, both Rafael and Carmen, does it mean something different to you now because you've won several times?
Well, not really. I mean, it was It was awesome at that time, and it is awesome right now. For me, it's yes, it's always exhilarating, and we're so nervous if we're gonna get the cup award or we're not. I mean, I think that that doesn't ever go up, ever. Uh,
It validates what you're doing, right? It validates that you're creating
oh,
amazing coffee. Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not only that, but to me, a Cup of Excellence Award now, it is more of a marketing tool that our buyers can use for selling their coffees.
correct.
It is just like a reassurance to their final consumers that they are buying some of the best coffees in the country and in the world.
Hmm. Yeah, that's so true. That's so
Sure.
true. So, so let's see. So you also work with many other small producers to mill their coffees. Do you actually market their coffees as well, or are you just providing the milling service, like services? How does that work?
We actually do both. We provide the milling and exporting service for some producers. We provide only milling for others, and we do processing, exporting, and sales for other producers as well. Each year, we work with about 25 to 35 other producers from different areas of the country. We work with producers on the western part of the country where we're at. We have producers, very small producers in the border of Honduras that we work with since about 5 years ago. And we recently started working with a small cooperative in the eastern part of the country.
Oh, got it. Perfect. So, have you guys traveled to other coffee origins then? Like you talk about working with another farm from Honduras, and you're just looking at all of these other farms. Have you actually traveled to the other coffee origins around the world?
Yes. I've been to farms in Honduras and in Guatemala, and we're actually doing very similar things to what they are doing, but they are very different countries. El Salvador is very small, and our production levels are very small compared to the volumes that Guatemala and Honduras are exporting. But in both of these countries, there's small producers, medium producers, and large producers as well. So it's very similar to what we're doing here.
Has it changed how you think about the industry or about your approach, or it's just nice to see other processes or other operations?
Something that I've loved about having met these producers in other countries is the share of experiences, not only in varieties but in farming, in processing, in sales. Like, even though we share very similar things, we also do things very differently at times as well. And learning from them is very important.
Okay, so there are several significant issues ubiquitous to every country growing coffee, right? Whether it's prices or climate change or disease or labor shortages, pest control, whatever it may be. How do you approach some of these longer term issues and balancing those priorities against the immediate needs of the community?
Agriculture, everything has to do with climate. So for us, many things are out of our reach because they definitely you don't know if we're going to have a drought, we're going to be having storms or anything. But still, we do program long term programs, which we deal with every single year to ensure that things are going to work. No, so we do that.
Okay, so on a personal level, I'm going to ask you each a question about whether or not you have a life motto or simple words you live by.
It's never do unto others what you don't want to be done unto you. And that's been my motto since I was in grade school. I mean, oh,
Yes. Yes, and that's a good one for sure. Good
yeah,
one to live by.
yeah.
Raphael?
Never stop learning, never stop experimenting.
Yes, that is wonderful too. That's like a great entrepreneurial um, foundation, I'll say. So, is there one piece of advice you'd give to someone in, I will say, coffee production, coffee farming, or is there one piece of advice you just generally give about running a successful business?
As my mom was saying, in agriculture, it is very difficult because we have to deal with things that we cannot control. One of the most important things that we don't control is nature. Dealing with nature is very, very tough. So my advice to producers be don't stop and always plan ahead.
Definitely.
Good
Good.
advice. And Carmen?
And I guess I just I'm all for with Rafael's. That is completely true. Yeah, you never. If there's a will, there's a way. There's another saying, and you can always go ahead. Every time. Never give up.
Never give up. Perfect. That is perfect. Okay, so I want to ask a little bit, a few questions around the coffee industry. So, can you share a general coffee industry stat that you find interesting?
It is mind blowing that a country so small such as Finland has the highest coffee consumption per capita. And number two is that the US still remains as the largest coffee consumption country in the world.
Yes, so true. Yes. Good stats. Carmen?
The countries that are coffee producers, every day you have more and more problems all over the world because you know that it's not only El Salvador, but it's all over. And still, it's the main drink that you can have anywhere in the world. So I
Yes.
guess that this business is never going to stop.
Along those same lines, share a random fun fact that maybe most coffee consumers probably don't know. So people that are not even in the industry, but something they probably just don't know.
Well, coffee is good for your health, for example.
There
There's
you
so
go.
many things.
Yes,
Yeah.
for sure.
Coffee is still a very uh, undeveloped, technologically speaking, industry. We still require a lot of manual labor. And I think people don't know the amount of work, the amount of people behind every cup of coffee that they're drinking.
Yeah, that is so true. I think someone had given us a stat before that was there's at least 40 hands or almost 40 hands that touch the coffee beans before it ends up in the cup, which is mind blowing. There is so much manual labor, as you state, Rafael,
Yeah.
that goes into that wonderful morning cup of coffee. So okay, so let's see, is there something that if you could change anything in the coffee industry, if there's one thing that you could change, what would that be?
Less risk for the producer.
Yeah, that's a
Right
good
now, the
one.
producer has 100% of the risk in the value chain.
Hmm.
That is
That's,
true. That
that's a
is
good one.
that I have to second that definitely.
Let's flip over to the U3 top three, which are very brief answers. And so, what I'll do is I'll go to Rafael and then Carmen. So, your favorite brewing method?
Okay, my favorite brewing method is the Calita wave.
Very good. Carmen?
Very clean cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Mine is Aeropress.
Is what?
Aeropress.
Oh,
Aeropress.
perfect. Got it. And for consumption, like your coffee drink of choice, like black, latte, hot, cold, a particular origin or wash.
Eh, I think that I drink way too much coffee, and my go-to cup of coffee is a washed bourbon. That's my everyday cup of coffee. But if I would have to say my favorite cup of coffee, I think it would be a orange bourbon variety.
Okay. And just black?
Yeah, just black.
Just black. Okay. Carmen?
Mine would be like I would second my husband. He loves pacamara and washed. So washed pacamara is my best choice. Yeah.
And is that just black?
Oh
Or do you
yes, black.
put just black?
Yes. No, just
Okay.
black.
Yes. And how many cups of coffee do you drink per day?
Rafa?
I drink between 15 to 20 cups of coffee a day. I'm here at the mill. And when I'm back home, I don't regularly drink coffee. And if I do, I look for a dessert, either a caramel cappuccino or a vanilla latte.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Carmen, how about you? How many cups of coffee do you drink per day?
I think it would be around 5 cup of coffees in the day. Yeah, maybe two or
Okay.
three in the morning, early morning, and
Yeah.
then one after lunch and one after, let's say, 4 or 5 in the evening, or less.
Perfect. Perfect. I define mine in pots of coffee because I drink way too much. Okay. Well, I want to thank you both so much for sharing your time with us today. I want to give you an opportunity to share where someone can learn more about you and Sicafe.
Yeah, our social media, our Instagram is Sicafe Coffee. Our Facebook is also Sicafe Coffee. And we have a website, which is a ccafesa.com.
That is perfect. Oh my God. Well, thank you both so much for sharing your amazing story, incredible history in coffee. And thank you so much for helping us unite the world through coffee.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And thanks to you, our followers, for joining us at U3 Coffee. We'll see you next time.